Stanbic IBTC. It can be.
Of course, brought to you by Stanbic IBTC. This is Business Express inside of Smooth Breakfast. The dial is Smooth at 98.1. Love music, love life. My name is Judith Atibi. Rotus is here.
Hey, good morning,
Good
Judith.
morning.
Good morning, Lagos City and beyond. Hope
Uh,
everybody's okay.
it's a beautiful Thursday. You know why it's
Indeed,
beautiful? Because
indeed.
Friday is around the corner.
Look, I remember what I did 3 weeks ago on Monday. And I remember that week I asked myself, how did we get to Friday so quickly? I remember doing it 2 weeks ago. And here we are again. The month is just rolling by.
Thank goodness. We can't wait for
Jeez.
2020 to be over.
Ah,
You can stream this show live. We are on YouTube. Head on to YouTube. It's www.youtube.com/smooth981fm. You can tweet at us. We are at smooth981fm. Make sure to use the hashtag freshly, or better still, hashtag Business Express 981 to WhatsApp us and to engage with us in the studio. The numbers are 0809 And Mr. Rotan quote, they're suspending SIM cards.
yes, indeed. That's the NCC, the Communications Commission. They directed all telecommunications companies to suspend the sale, registration, and activation of new SIM cards. The press statement came from the commissioner, the director of the commission's director of public affairs, Dr. Ikechukwu Aginde, and he said that the instruction was in line with the directive from Dr. Pantami, Dr. Isa Pantami, that's of course the Minister of Communication, who in turn said it was in line with the federal government's desire to consolidate the achievement of the SIM card registration exercise of September 2019. It's an audit. They want to do an audit. They want to make sure that mobile network operators are following the required protocols with respect to safety. So pretty much it's new. Any registration is suspended. MTN didn't waste time. I mean, remember they got burned by this last time, so they sent out where is it? I have the letter here. They quickly sent a letter. Yellow all. We've received a directive from the NCC to suspend sales and activation of new SIM cards on the network with immediate effect. Consequently, we're hereby directed to suspend the sale, registration, and activation of new SIM cards across all touch points. I mean, they quickly sent out a letter because everybody remembers their saga last time. But there's been some divided opinion on this. Interested to know what our listeners think. What is this social media post? Some folks were quoting a couple of things. Okay, so one individual said, okay, so here's the thing. There's been evidence that according to the I believe it was the director that was saying, there's been evidence that kidnappers use pre-registered SIM cards that do not go through the traditional know your customer registration process, and that as a result of that, that's of course, sorry, I'm quoting the president of the Association of Telecommunications Companies of Nigeria, Ikechukwu Nnamani. He said, yes, there has been evidence that kidnappers are using pre-registered SIM cards that do not go through the traditional know your customer registration process. What is going on is an attempt to ensure the right processes are in place. Some are saying that, look, they are going to disrupt business. So here's one gentleman who says, so if there's a business that has just been registered through the Corporate Affairs Commission, you started a business, and you need a dedicated line. They said we have to wait for them NCC to audit first. It says, do bank audits cease issuance of new accounts? I like that analogy. I do like that analogy. On the other side, somebody said, ask yourself, which one is better, national security, human lives, or so-called business environment? On the side that was criticizing the move, someone said, why must this government choose hard impacts instead of intelligence in dealing with simple issues? An audit should be a continuous activity, and I don't see why you have to shut down a system to do an audit. Here's an example. The outgoing president of the United States, Donald Trump, he never released his taxes because he claimed that he was under audit by the IRS in the United States. And Warren Buffett, other people say, hey, look, Oga, even though an audit is going on, you should still be able to release your taxes. That an audit is happening should not stop you from releasing your taxes. So that's what this last comment is saying, that look, that's an audit, that the NCC wants to suddenly audit these mobile network operators does not mean that they should shut down the registration of new SIMs. Also, I mean, with audits, you want to, I guess, maybe surprise the mobile network operators because they could have announced this ahead of time, saying that this is happening. But then maybe that would have, we would have defeated the purpose. So I'm interested to know what people say. You know, I am. I don't like talking out of both sides of my mouth. I'm a bit in between. I'm a bit in between.
Yeah.
I understand the national security issues
Mhm.
with SIM cards, with kidnappers. But at the same time, if I just registered a business yesterday and then I'm waking up this morning and I'm seeing the telco sending me a notice that I can't register a phone and you need a dedicated line for your business, Christmas is coming. Imagine you want to start doing deliveries now.
Yeah.
So you can, so depending on how long this audit. So I don't know. I'm kind of leaning against this move. You could have carried out your audits without shutting down new registrations for people who want to just who need dedicated lines. But anyway, let's see what we do have messages already.
Yeah, we do.
Right.
This is from MI all the way from Akoka. He goes, very lazy leadership. Why can't we talk? Why can't we walk and chew gum at the same time? We want to disrupt a thriving telecoms and market because of an update. The average Nigerian leader believes that until people go through inconveniences, you won't believe they are working. What happened to this discrete audit? I beg, Chief Joe, this is 21st century. I also feel the same way too.
Valid comment.
Very valid comment.
Valid comment from MI.
Besides just that, there's every time you go to buy or re-register your SIM, or when your SIM has been deactivated, you go do that. There's so many processes that go with it, and it's like.
Remember when I got robbed?
Oh, I also got robbed.
Right, the process, going to the courts, getting the affidavit, going back to the
I did it twice because the first one was like, oh no, this is just for the police to file a police report. We need one. I'm like, why do I have to go through all this
process?
It's long,
so and that process still exists, and so. Yeah, you have to ask again. So I feel like
it's like, well, you do have all my information there. There's a KYC. I have a BVN, and that BVN has my number attached to it.
True, but then again, just to quote again, just to remain for me to attempt neutrality here. Again, I will quote the president of the Association of Telecommunications Companies of Nigeria, where he says there has been evidence that kidnappers use pre-registered SIM cards that did not go through the traditional know your customer registration process. So the argument of national security, I mean, I accept that argument, but then based on what MI has said, I mean, I see there are more messages.
Yeah, I was going to say that anyway.
I understand.
So this is Labs. I think her name is Labs. And she goes, I need to understand how this SIMS registration deactivation makes sense. This is December. People are coming home from abroad and they need Niger SIMs while in Niger. I need to understand. And okay, she resent it again.
Good. I say again, I understand people that complain about this.
Ugati all the way from Ikate. He goes, the federal government should walk it back. There should be a 3 weeks waiver grace period for credible businesses. People are still saying outgoing. The 45th already had a second term.
I think he's referring to Trump.
This is Yinka. It goes Roach's point of correction. MTN didn't get burnt the last time. MTN might have been fined, but we paid it that fine. Okay.
I understand where you're coming from, Yinka. I get you.
Right. And he goes, did you notice the speed at which data and airtime disappeared from our phones? Anyway, watch the price of SIM go up because like the way the borders have closed, God knows when they finish the audit.
The audits, right.
Yinkos goes, good morning, guys. The decision by NCC is counterproductive and disruptive, to say the least. How can NCC be doing this on the back of a recession? The powers our regulators flex is way too much. Can they give us the statistics on the security end? Now, wow. Also, how long does this registration take? What is the timeline of the exercise?
It doesn't look like any of our listeners so far in support of this measure. So none of you care about security. Anyway, what Yinkus just said though about the data, you see, this is the same thing.
I want to say the same thing. Is data
with President Buhari coming out and saying that we closed the borders and our message has sunk into our neighbors, so now we can reopen the borders.
But insecurity is.
Yeah, but under what measure did it sink in? How are you measuring that closing borders? So I mean, I kind of see where Yinkus is coming from. Is that it, or do we?
Yeah, we have one more. Let's see. This is let's see if we can get your name. Benito. It goes, hi. They want to turn NCC to CBN with digital ID and digital KYC and digital KYI in a digital area. era, I beg your pardon, Nigeria. What happened to backward integration?
Good point. Good point.
And that's
Good
it.
point.
That's,
Good
that's,
point.
that's
Good
it.
point.
That's it.
Okay, so no one supports this so far. Okay, well look, I understand. I understand. What else is going on? I think you have locker not locker room. Excuse me.
Grapevine.
Grapevine. Are you guys talking about the Mr. Easy
Yes, we
tweets?
will. We will. We
Okay,
will.
I see. There was so much tech news yesterday. I mean, this happened yesterday, so I didn't want it to be stale by Friday. But I guess you all should tune into Grapevine later today. But Mr. Easy is offering you all out there equity shares in his music with his next album. He's saying you can actually purchase equity shares. I'm not sure how he's basing it on that. You can share in the profits of the sales of his next album. I'm glad he brings this up because if I'm going to get equity shares in your album, I want to know how many copies you're selling, right? There's still this issue of
Data.
data on how many albums or how many copies of albums artists are selling, and with respect to transparency and so on and so forth. But I thought it was an interesting move that he wants to put forward there with respect to him. And then I wanted to say this for Tech Friday, but it happened yesterday. Facebook is being sued by the United States government for basically antitrust regulation, and they by trying to break them up. If I waited till tomorrow, I think it would have been too stale. It just happened yesterday, so I might as well mention it today. Yeah, so they're saying that the acquisition of Instagram, the acquisition of WhatsApp, they've crushed competition. They are basically a monopoly. They're a behemoth. Facebook is saying, well, this is the Federal Trade Commission in the United States. They're saying, look, why did you allow us to buy WhatsApp and buy Instagram how many years ago if you're saying that it was anti-competitive? So I think it's a loss. I think about 46 states or so are coming against Facebook. So it's really interesting to see how that happens. But the point is that they're trying to they're saying they should sell Instagram, probably sell WhatsApp, or restructure the company, restructure those both companies. I think it'll be, I don't know how they end up getting this.
But like we've seen this before in their history, right?
Yeah, I think the last antitrust thing, like it was in Europe. I think they tried the Europeans because those guys are very very heavy on antitrust laws. They tried to go after Facebook. I don't think it was successful. I think there was also an antitrust law brought against Google. We'll still get into it, I guess, for Tech Friday tomorrow. But since it just happened yesterday, I was like, well, might as well mention it today. But yeah, the NCC. Still more messages.
Yes. There's so many of them.
I don't see anybody. I don't say if anyone supports what the NCC.
Nobody.
None.
They're none of them. It said the price. This is the price you pay for incompetency. This is from MI from Akoka, and this is quite a long message. I think he's repeating himself. This is Yinka. Let me shock you. We will Google Meet to make calls. And this is Silugati. He goes, I support the federal government's policy 100%. I am just saying credible Nigerians who will be affected should be taking into cognizance. Yes, Trump should repeal the 230. Facebook should be broken.
Okay, so at least we got one person.
Facebook should be broken as well. Yeah, I do feel so.
I was like, at least one person should support what NCC is doing. I mean, it's still a landslide where majority of the listeners don't support what they're doing. But, yeah, is that how much time we got?
Well, we're pretty sure out of time. But
okay.
this last message is from Barry, all the way from Sulere. He goes, there will always be divergent views on government decisions.
Indeed.
And Facebook is a monolith. The antitrust move is expected because the West prides itself on competition and free market.
That's MI, yeah?
MI from Akoka. And I stand with you.
Thank you all for your messages. Really appreciate it. Well, I guess we'll get into it again tomorrow and more stuff on Tech Friday. But thank you all for your messages, Judith. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming in. It's been Business Express brought to you by Stanbic IBTC. Join us at 7:30 for Freshly Pressed.
Nice. A good old video buddy right there.